Got some gold jewelry here today, and I'm gonna try something new. We've got 14.1 grams of 14K, 3.2 grams of 10K, and I think this is just silver, and that is 1.2 grams. Gonna incord it with some copper, melt it in the melt dish, and we're expecting or hoping for a yield of about 9.7 grams of 24 karat gold. I am going to attempt a speed refining. So I'm going to keep track of the exact time it takes and do this refining hopefully in less than 6 hours. That's my goal. I think I can do it.
What?
Ready to dissolve the copper out. I'm pretty sure I forgot to hit record when I encorded the gold with the copper, but there it is. We're about 10 minutes in here. Cut it up on the hot plate, and I'm gonna add some used dilute nitric to this to get it going. We'll do some boils and get rid of this copper. So I'm gonna hop into a time lapse and you guys will see that next. Alright, nitric boil number 2, we're going to use some fresh nitric acid. Here we go. We are about, let's see, how far are we in here? Time-wise. 1 hour, 43 minutes, 42 minutes. We're on our third nitric boil. And I am going to get this nitric acid off. And I'm going to put it in a plastic bottle for used dilute nitric for other refining. Because there is still some active nitric in here. I'm just doing this speed run.
And I don't really want to waste a ton of chemicals, but we will have a lot of excess nitric as we are pouring these off. So I'm going to grab that container and get a new fresh boil on. You guys have watched the first 2 time lapses of the first 2 boils. This is going to be, let's see, yeah. 1, 2, 3. This will be the 4th one here. There's a look at the gold so far. Spilled water. Nitric acid. Rinse and repeat, quite literally. Catch up with you when we have some other exciting stuff going on. Three hours, 6 minutes. Gonna get the hydrochloric on. I got a new bottle and it's in a clear container this time, kind of different. Threw me off a little bit. But we're gonna go to dissolve this gold. Looking good for the pace we're trying to stick with. The speed run of dissolving gold. Got 100 milliliters of hydrochloric acid, and I'm going to drop some nitric in and we're going to dissolve this gold. Here we go. Three hours, 7 minutes, 44 seconds. Well, apparently even the GoPro will overheat out here. I have topped off with hydrochloric acid a couple times. As you can see, there is still a little bit of fume production. That's due to excess nitric, and there's still one little crumb in there that isn't giving it up, but we'll get that out when we filter. What we're doing now is just trying to rid off all the excess nitric by boiling this hydrochloric and nitric acid solution down. And there's also some sulfuric acid in there too. I forgot to mention that on the last 2 videos. And that'll drop out any lead that's present. Just gonna let this keep boiling. Trying to get rid of all this nitric. Let's see. We are at 4 hours and 34 minutes. Got the filter set up, and go over something here. I've had a lot of questions about this, or people telling me what I need to be doing here with my ice. And there's a little bit of a disconnect with understanding why I'm using purified water ice. Now this is RO, reverse osmosis, not from the tap, and it still contains chlorides I should say, that will drop any silver chloride out of this solution. That's why it's kind of cloudy. There's a small participant in there. By using this ice, it will drop that out. If I were to use distilled water ice, the silver chloride would not drop out of solution and it would contaminate the aqua regia. That is why I use the water that I use to cool the solution down. Kind of show you what it looks like right there. Not really enough to really worry about too much. Give this a few more pumps. And we are approaching hour 5. And there's definitely, I don't know if you can make it out, but there is a white fluffy stuff. That is the silver chloride. Now that kind of looks like gold, but it wasn't dissolving in the aqua regia. I don't know what that is. I'll take a look at it. I'm gonna focus on what I've got in this filter, this funnel, excuse me, this flask. We'll rinse this filter really good. And it looks pretty dang clear over here to me. I'm gonna go get some more glassware, and I will filter this one more time, and then I will catch up with you when I go to drop the gold. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the gold here. That should be enough right there. Do a little bit more for good measure. Yeah, that's good right there. Gonna put this back up on the hot plate and boil it. Let the gold settle out. There's the gold right there. And we'll pour it off and double refine it. Got 55 minutes left. It sure is gonna be close. I don't know if I can do it that fast. This is the second refining. Got about 40 minutes to dissolve it, drop it out, and melt it to hit my challenge number. See how I go. Second refining. This is the second refining. Dissolving the gold. Coming right along. I'm not putting any more nitric in there. That should get all the rest of it. About 2.5–3 milliliters of nitric acid. Well, when it comes to incremental nitric doses, I don't think it could get any closer than that. There are 10 little micro crumbs in there, and all the nitric's been used. I don't know if you can see it from this angle better. There's little tiny crumblets stuck in there. Let's see what we're looking like for time. 5 hours, 46 minutes. It's gonna be a tough one to get this. I don't think I'll be able to get it melted but I might be able to pull it through the filter and maybe drop it before the 6 hour mark, but definitely not washed and melted. But I will do the same thing I just did previous. I'm gonna filter this, cool it down, filter it, drop it with SMB, and then rinse it with hydrochloric acid boil and then distilled water boil. I'm not gonna film all that. I'll probably film the drop but what I will film is the final product and the time from when I start to melt the button to when I get it finished. That was really hard, but it's looking really good. So I will show you the drop, and then I'll show you what we end up with. Well, I'm pretty bad with this GoPro. Let me tell you first and foremost. I just dropped the gold for a second time and I wasn't recording. Yeah, shame on me. Yeah, that kind of sucks. Regardless, I went over the time here. When I dropped the gold, it was 54, so I had 6 minutes to get it boiling, cleaned up, and melted into a button. I can't get over the fact that I didn't hit record. I hit record right after I walked away with the gold, which is now boiling to drop out at the stannous chloride, or excuse me, with the SMB and the aqua regia. So just imagine the gold dropping out of solution and this awesome, beautiful brown swirl in this yellow, perfectly clear liquid.
One more should do the trick.
Cause yeah, I'm the only one that got to see that. It is what it is. So, not gonna hit the 6-hour mark for the melted button, but I am still trying to do this speed refining. The gold's settling out on the hot plate, trying to boil it, and then I'll wash it a couple times, and then I'll show you what it looks like when I melt it up. I failed. Okay, we're recording now. Kind of back where it all started here. Earlier this morning, melting the gold, and gonna get it in this melt dish. We are. Six hours and 23 minutes into the refining here. I'd mentioned before, this is probably my least favorite part of the whole thing, because after all this hard work, you can really mess it up by dropping the gold. It is totally possible. So I'm gonna pour off as much water as I can from the mud, so I don't want it squirting back. And I'll go ahead and melt this. There's the gold. If I had a little pipette with me, I'd suck it out, but I could probably use a towel or dab it up with my shirt. There we go. All right, go ahead and melt this into a button. Six hours, 33 minutes. Got a little scratch on the top, but that's alright. I'm gonna make a vendetta round out of this bad boy. and brand it. Wash this off a little bit and then stamp it. I'll show you what it looks like when we're done. Theoretical yield on this was 9.7 approximately. I have this little bit of gold from the second refining where I did incremental nitric doses. And then there's a couple little crumbs in there. Looks like some silver and a little bit of gold, but it's hard to really tell. .57. That is pretty dang good. Pretty dang good. I'm real happy with that yield. Almost 100% theoretical yield.